Hola mis amores, Johnny here. As you saw in the title, I have a problem. I have no better way to put it, but just to say that I have been over obsessed with my collection of makeup for many years, a long time now, and this is a video that I didn't know that I was gonna do ever, but I'm doing it because I was honestly surprised now that I did finally organize and clean and put everything where it belongs. I have this box right here. It's full of eyeshadow palettes. I am obsessed with eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so here's my makeup vanity, right? But here I have my favorite eyeshadow palettes. These are basically the ones that I use the most, or the ones that I want to have always next to me. And you can see my cat wondering everything about life behind the palettes. And then we have this bin right here and this box right here that are just all of the other, these are all of the other eyeshadow palettes. And then here in the vanity, I also have a collection of mini eyeshadow palettes. So let's get into these now. I have so many that I don't know exactly how many I have, but I'm doing this video for two reasons. One of them to account for my insanity and my craziness of collecting all of these eyeshadow palettes for years now. And the second one is because I also had a big organization and a cleanup in my house, and like I think that it's time to donate and to give those eyeshadow palettes that I haven't even used to a lot of people that they could use it as well. I'm gonna be doing a donation of makeup and skincare products in the in the Miami area. So if you live in Miami and you're interested in that, leave a comment down below, because I might still have some of this makeup that I want to donate. And just so you know, I still have a lot more than just that, and a lot of brand new in the package stuff. And without further ado, I don't want this video to be so long. I'm gonna go through all of them. I really wanna count all of them that I have, and I wanna maybe see the value of all of them. So I'm gonna go quickly through them, telling you the value, how I got them, and something maybe quick about it. Let's get into it, because I feel like this is gonna be a long one. Let's start with my favorite ones. The first one that we have right here is Tres Luce I Am palette, and I mean, you have seen me use her many times. The second one that we have is La Flor de Mexico palette, also from Tres Luce Beauty. Then we have Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. This one came out recently and I've been loving it. Ofra Cosmetics Pro palette in collaboration with Marian palette. I love this palette so much because I know the person that they collaborated with. I'm super proud to see a Venezuelan artist do a huge collaboration like this with Ofra. And look at this palette, she's sickening. Dominique Cosmetic Transition palette. This works as an eyeshadow palette and also as a face palette. Like, she's so good. Nikki Tutorials X Beauty Bay. I loved her. Like, I literally have used this palette so much. Some of the shades I'm about to hit pan, as you can see. The brown and the gold for sure. But I'm loving this. Then we have Alexis Stone X. Who is this? X Revolution. Oh yeah, Alexis Stone X Revolution. I mean, the first Alexis Stone palette, iconic. Nothing like this happened before in the makeup industry, and then Alexis did this and killed it. And following that, of course, we got Sensorium Beauty Misting right here, chapter 1. I cannot wait for chapter 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And the last two of my favorites are these two Pro Pigment palettes from Norvina Cosmetics. This is the volume 1 and this is volume 3. I mean, look at those shades, how stunning. Now we continue with the mini palettes. Vanity Makeup Sculpting and Glow palette. This is in the medium shade. I love these. It's actually super creamy. Tres Luce, we got two of the babies right here. This is I Am Alma and I Am Siempre Divina. Dragon Beauty Fantasy Palette Volume 1. Dragon Beauty Fantasy Palette Volume 2, and Dragon Beauty Fantasy Palette Volume 3. Natasha Denona Peak Palette, Natasha Denona Coral Palette, Natasha Denona Jubilee Palette, Natasha Denona Ayana Palette, Natasha Denona Cranberry Palette, Huda Beauty Neon Pink Palette, Huda Beauty Neon Green Palette, Huda Beauty Neon Orange Palette, Huda Beauty Pastel Lilacs Palette, Huda Beauty Pastel Mint Palette, Huda Beauty Pastel Rose Palette, Huda Beauty Chocolate Brown Palette, Huda Beauty Caramel Brown Palette, and one of my favorite Huda Beauties, the Toffee Brown Palette, Huda Beauty Color Block Neon Orange and Purple Palette, Huda Beauty Color Block Blue and Green Eyeshadow Palette. I clearly love Huda Beauty and Natasha Denona. So right now I have this bin with me, and this is so heavy, first of all. Second of all, I don't know how many palettes I have in here. This is a combination of brand new palettes that I open and I swatch only, palettes that I use and I didn't use anymore. So it's a lot, so I'm gonna kind of walk through them fast. Hank & Henry Spring Fling Eyeshadow Palette, Cap Contour Face Palette, Butter London Eyeshadow Palette, Dose of Colors X I Love Sarai Eyeshadow Palette, Maven Beauty Cosmic Love Palette, Ace Beauty Vintage Dawn Palette, Ciate X Chloe Morello, 15 and Night Master Palette from Morphe Cosmetics, Exotic Peacock Eyeshadow Palette from Pinky Rose Cosmetics, Crime Venus Tree Eyeshadow Palette. This is called Unicorn Pink Eyeshadow Palette from A Black Glam. I don't know this. Living in Color Eyeshadow Palette from Hank & Henry. I use this palette a lot. Not this specific one, this one is brand new, but my version of this, I use it a lot. Forever Heritage Eyeshadow Palette, Eloise Queen Eyeshadow Palette, Game Beauty. This is their Adventure Palette. I love their packaging. I mean, look at these gorgeous, stunning shimmers. She's really, really pretty, honestly. I'm like, should I keep her? Hold up. Oh, you see, this is what happens. Like, now I'm gonna keep her. Boudoir Shadows from Beauty Creation, Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions and Huda Beauty Ruby Amethyst, a Cover FX Highlighter Palette, an Aether Beauty Highlighter Palette, Muse Beauty Eyeshadow Palette, Zoeva Nude Spectrum Blush Palette, Nesting Beach Face Blush Palette from Pretty Vulgar, Highlight and Contour Palette from Pure Cosmetics, Cream Contour Spectrum Palette from Zoeva, Iconic London Multi-Use Sculpting Palette with cream highlights and contours, Beauty Bakery Sour You Doing Eyeshadow Palette, Aether Beauty Eyeshadow Palette, Lorac Pro Contour Palette, BH Cosmetics Flower Blush Palette, BH Cosmetics Flower Power Palette, Glam Light Burger Eyeshadow Palette. I honestly had this for a couple of years now. She's not one of the ones that I'm giving away, but it's just one of the ones that I have on my collection. It's so big, but I always have to put her on the side. Tres Luce Beauty Tres Reinas Palette, Morphe Cosmetics 35i Icy Fantasy Palette, Ace Beauty Quintessential Palette, one of my favorite eyeshadows ever. This is the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag Color Palette. This is the original, y'all. She's discontinued. She's not coming back again. Like, this is the one, you know, the reflective, beautiful, the one we all fall in love with. Another Aether Beauty eyeshadow palette. This is a Rose Quartz. Then we have Phase Zero Eyeshadow Palette. Anastasia Beverly Hills. We have the Norvina. We also have the Jacqueline collab. Violet Buzz Essential 2 Palette. Mini but gorgeous. Complex Culture Bake Highlighter Palettes. Two of these mini Wet n Wild eyeshadow and glitter palettes. Ethereal Bloom Palette from Artist Couture. Glam Room 1 from House Labs. A Seattle London Eyeshadow Mini Eyeshadow Palette. A Kevin Aquan Emphasized Eyeshadow Palette and a Platinum, I think, eye topper. This is the Beauty Bakery Milk and Honey Palette, and this is a highlighter palette. I got two of the Kenya O Set and Define palettes, and I love these palettes a lot. I think that's why I have two. I actually have like 4. Like, these are the 2 that I'm giving away, but I have more in there. And then the Perfector Face Palette from Cover FX, and these, my mom loves it. So, mama, yo sé que si tú estás viendo este video, tú vas a pedirme por esta paleta, así que te la voy a guardar, tranquila. No te preocupes, yo te tengo una de estas a ti. Los demás son para regalar, ¿ok? Then we have Too Faced Eyeshadow Palette, Peaches and Cream. Iconic BoxyCharm Palette. Tarte's Pro Palette. Emily Cosmetics Rainbow Palette that it includes eyeshadows, face contour, blushes, and even a sponge and a brush that just fell. I have a Tres Luce I Am palette in here. Hip Dot Diamond Diva palette. Wonder Beauty Wondrous palette. The full collection of the Ace Beauty Burst of Paradise palette, so all 4 of them. Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Pure Festival palette. She's broken. Look, I literally like destroy that shade. Nomad Lake Como eyeshadow palette, brand new. I have some blush palettes from Natasha Denona. One blush and one contour palette from Alamar Cosmetics. Another eyeshadow palette from Game Beauty that I'm probably gonna keep. Mini eyeshadow palette from Color Wash. The Riot eyeshadow palette. Poison Eye from Hank and Henry. Las Hermanas from Hank and Henry. Fuego from Hank and Henry. Woody eyeshadow palette. Night Show eyeshadow palette. New Tribute palette. Cenote Press eyeshadow palette from Hip Dot. The Sion eyeshadow palette from Hip Dot. KVD, this is one of my favorite palettes. Mercury Pro eyeshadow palette from Lorac. Ace Beauty Nostalgia palette. Nomad Intense eyeshadow palette. And Hip Dot Rio palette. There's also this Crown eyeshadow palette in here. Minis, 2 minis. Ofra Good To Go palette. Ace Beauty Falling For You palette. Ace Beauty Glow palette. Violet Boss Olive For You palette. Chella Beauty Divine Purpose palette. Aether Beauty Desert Sunset palette. I have this Rare Beauty True To Myself eyeshadow palette. I also have the Gay Bestie from Camarillo. Which is like the only eyeshadow palette that talks that I know of, that I have. That's why I kept it. I was like, mama. Also, these shades that here, the gold and this one are gorgeous. One Size eyeshadow palette. And I have to say, I am tired of saying eyeshadow palettes. That was a lot. I honestly lost count. Like at one point, there's like 6 boxes of eyeshadow palettes next to me. And I got overwhelmed while I was filming it. So I'm gonna count while I'm editing, and this is the number of eyeshadow palettes that I have. Like, I know that it's a pretty high number and like it's kind of scary, but just so you know, it's my, like, I love makeup, and like I've been working with a makeup subscription box for the past 3.5 years now. So I get frequently, every month I get a box of makeup, you know, that includes sometimes eyeshadow palettes, and I love them all, and I kept them all. Like, as you can see, a lot of them came from my job, a lot of them came from PR, a lot of them I just bought myself because I wanted. Some of them were gifts. I honestly just wanted to share with you all of my collection, because I feel like there's a lot of you who love to see hauls and love to see collections of makeup in the same way that I do. And I always want to continue to encourage y'all to join me in this YouTube channel, because I really want us to be a community of makeup lovers that we can talk about whatever we want and share our opinions about all of that. So if you saw one of the palettes that you love and you really wanted, leave a comment down below. Maybe I can ship it to you, or we can arrange something whenever you come visit Miami sometime. I'm really trying my best this month to donate as much as I can of all of those brand new items of makeup and skincare that I have with me, specifically to the queer community that has supported me and embraced me so much. And I just want to give back as much as I can, you know? Especially if I have the chance with all of these new products, like, why not? So this has been a really long video so far, so if you watch all the way through, please make sure that you subscribe and click the bell down below so you can get a notification the next time that I upload a video. As always, continue to spread positivity and love, and I'll see you in the next one, mis amores. Bye.